204-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, my friends, so when I was growing up, I collected comic books, right? I played all sports, basketball, football, baseball, bowling, whatever. If it was an activity, we did it. I did it, right? Shot pool, just everything, right? I was one of those kids, right? My mom told me when I was very young, learn to play everything, every card game, every board game, every sport, learn to play. That way, wherever you go, wherever you are, if that game breaks out, you're able to play. You don't have to sit on the sidelines. So that's how I grew up, right? Had a great mom. Rest in peace, mommy. And so, but I also was an only child. So I collected comic books and baseball cards. We used to flip baseball cards for hours, and I collected comic books. But one of the magazines that I bought all the time I can't even tell you how young I was when I started buying Mad Magazine. I know many of you remember Mad Magazine, Alfred E. Newman. And Mad Magazine had a strip, no words, just drawings. It was Spy versus Spy. Someone should make a movie, Spy versus Spy. That's kind of an idea. Don't steal it. That's my idea. Don't steal it. Anyway, I used to love Spy versus Spy, right? And it was kind of a cool comic strip, and it was kind of like, Roadrunner and Tom and Jerry and stuff, but it was two spy, one in all black, one in all white, and everything. And it was very satirical, very good, very funny. Even for a small kid, you can get some of the jokes, right? Maybe a lot of them went above your head, but you still laughed at these drawings. And that's what I'm reminded of when I was watching Tulsi Gabbard get sworn in, Spy versus Spy. All of these people, listen, let me read a quote to you. Let me read this quote. This is Tulsi Gabbard after being sworn in. Unfortunately, the American people have very little trust in the intelligence community. You don't say. She didn't say that. But largely because they've seen the weaponization and politicization of an entity that is supposed to be purely focused on ensuring our national security. And what's interesting to me, and many of you who are longtime listeners of this show have heard me talk about this. There are many of us, myself included, in this country who have never trusted the spy agencies. We've seen what they've done in other countries. We've seen the chaos they've sown in other countries. We've seen the assassinations, and we've read the books, and so we kind of look sideways at the spy agencies. Now, that being said, let me say this part. I'm sure many unnamed people who have given their lives that I'm sitting here in a free country right now who were part of the spy agencies. And so this is not like all bad, right? You still need them in war, and you're constantly at war in a world like this. Even though there's no shooting going on, you're constantly at war. You're constantly protecting your intelligence. You're constantly protecting your business trade secrets. You're constantly protecting your secrets. So we need this group of people. But the intelligence agencies in this country have gotten too big, too wieldy, and extremely too powerful. There's a famous clip of Chuck Schumer saying, if you cross the intelligence agencies, they'll come after you. Basically him saying that. And it's right. He's right. Tulsi Gabbard, I like for this position as Secretary of DNI, Director of National Intelligence, is because she's not one of them. Like the big pushback against her, she met with Putin, or she met with the communists, or whoever, Bashar in Syria, and she came back and she's pro-Putin, giving all his talking points. Well, you know what? I gotta say, it sounds like Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump kind of said the same thing, because they told Ukraine today, no, you're not going to be part of NATO. Because the one thing this guy doesn't want Like, he may be a dictator, he may be not the best leader, he may be a liar. All those things we could toss at the feet of Putin. But the fact of the matter, he doesn't want NATO at his doorstep. That's fair. It's a fair thing. That's a fair thing. We don't want a communist power in our doorstep either. I mean, no one does. No one wants his enemy at the doorstep. And so Trump moved some B-52s. Pete Hegseth told NATO, hey, we don't want this to be a diplomatic mission anymore. We want NATO to be a full militarized, big, strong army. That way, when someone bugs out, it's ready. With no talking. And guess what? Putin said, hey, man, what y'all doing over there? Let's sit down and talk. And Trump tells Zelensky, no, you're not going to be a member of NATO. Now, stop fighting, just sit down, talk to this guy, let's work this out. Brilliant. Why didn't we do this a long time ago? Why couldn't this have been done under Biden? Why? The intelligence agencies. Billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars flowed through many of these organizations. Cash. Untraceable. Yeah. Good job, Tulsi. Now get in there and clean house. Clean house, my sister. When we come back, talk a little bit about RFK Jr.